Trad wife isn't that wonderful. Ballerina Farms controversy. When the article titled "Meet the Queen of the Trad Wives and Her 8 Children" was published last Saturday, the Ballerina Farm family was back in the spotlight. This time, it wasn't because they were enjoy watch Hannah Neeleman's activities in their farm, like her contents all of this time, but because they felt sorry for her. Ballerina Farm is one of the family content creators who has millions of followers, especially on TikTok. The family often shows off their daily routines on a 326-acre farm in Utah. In the article, Megan Agnew reveals the life behind Ballerina Farm's idealized and dreamy content, especially what Hannah had to go through to become a wife and mother with 8 children. Meet Ballerina Farm. Hannah is the 8th of 9 children in Springville, which is not far from Salt Lake City. She was raised by Mormon parents who ran a florist business. Ballet caught her attention when she was 3 and brought her to New York City, the big city she had always dreamed of. At the age of 14, she traveled to New York to attend summer classes at the Juilliard School, one of the most prestigious and recognized art schools in the world. She fell in love with ballet even more and hoped to return to the school to become a great professional ballerina. Hannah shared her struggle to get into Juilliard in a 2018 Instagram post. At the time she was 17 years old, the college was only looking for about 12 female dancers. To support her dream, her mother even spent a large sum of money for her. She was one of the 6 female dancers who were not cut. The organizers said that they would be contacted if accepted. 3 weeks later, Hannah got it, to pay for her education and needs while in New York. She often competed in beauty pageants to earn academic scholarships and allowances. When Hannah was around 22 years old, one of her friends introduced her to a guy, Daniel Neeleman, who was 23 years old at the time. Since their encounter at a college basketball game, Daniel was very attracted to her. He started approaching Hannah and asking her out on dates. Hannah kept rejecting his invitation for 6 months. Hannah started to change her mind when they accidentally met Daniel, at least this is how she thought it was, on a flight from Salt Lake City to New York. She said, "I'm on that same flight," and they found themselves sitting next to each other. "I just thought, no way, that's crazy," Hannah told journalist Megan. In fact, it was not a coincidence at all. Daniel had arranged everything very easily. Daniel is one of 10 children from a family with a Mormon background in Connecticut. His father, David Neeleman, is an entrepreneur who founded many commercial airlines such as JetBlue, Azul Brazilian Airlines, Morris Air, Breeze Airways, Open Skies, and WestJet. In addition, his father has a personal stake in Portuguese airline TAP. In conclusion, Daniel is the son of a billionaire. It's easy for him to arrange just one flight ticket to sit with the girl he likes. However, Daniel's efforts were successful as Hannah started to consider his date. Daniel had been thinking about marrying Hannah since met her, so they dated for a few months. "Back then I thought we should date for a year so I could finish school and whatever." And Daniel was like, "This isn't going to work. We have to get married now," she says. 2 months after they got married, Hannah followed Daniel to his rented apartment on the Upper West Side. 3 months after that, she became pregnant with their first child. Ironically, Hannah, who was known as an honor student at Juilliard, became the first Juilliard undergraduate student to become pregnant. She knew her pregnancy would change many aspects of her life. At that time, Hannah was still able to pursue her hobby even though she was only teaching at colleges. But their family started to move around a lot, which made it difficult for her to keep teaching and dance. When they had just 3 children, Daniel had to move to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil due to work demands. At the time, Daniel was working as a director in his father's security company. "Our first few years of marriage were really hard. We sacrificed a lot," Hannah recalls. "But we did have this vision, this dream, and," Daniel interrupts, "we still do." Daniel took Hannah and her children to live on the farm we know as Ballerina Farm. The name was chosen because of Hannah's love for ballet, which she gave up for the sake of the family farm. "Well, I gave up dance, which was hard. You give up a piece of yourself," she said. Marrying Daniel, a conglomerate's son, may have given Hannah hope of continuing her dream as a ballerina. With the Neeleman family's wealth and connections, she could achieve success more easily. But Daniel wanted to live independently as a farmer in a small village, without his family's luxurious life and living as simply as possible. And Hannah can't resist. They started Ballerina Farm with just 4 pigs, 1 male and the rest females. None of them had any animal breeding experience. Daniel himself had only ever raised his own dog. They were just city kids, but they did the best they could. Daniel knew Hannah would be sad that she had to give up her dreams, so he provided a small barn for Hannah's ballet studio. But Hannah was too busy taking care of the kids, the farm, and the house. So, the barn ended up being used as a classroom for children who were homeschooled with a Mormon Christian curriculum. It's so miserable. The parenting matters. Now the Nealman family has 8 children: Henry, 12, Charles, 10, George, 9, Francis, 7, Lois, 5, Martha, 3, Mabel, 2, and baby Flora, 6 months. Almost all of them Hannah gave birth normally in her own room, except for Henry and Martha, who were born in a hospital. She even birthed them without painkillers. When she was about to give birth to their first daughter, Martha, Daniel wasn't by her side as he was supervising a crew on a meat box delivery. Hannah was 2 weeks late and only 10 pounds overweight. For the first time, she received an epidural injection, a pain reliever often used to reduce pain. When asked why she never used painkillers, she said, "I don't know, I just have never loved taking it." Why didn't Daniel try to convince Hannah to use it, if the problem wasn't that she was allergic to the medication? Having 8 children at the age of 34, with a close age gap, Hannah has to take care of them without the help of babysitters. Daniel doesn't want a babysitter to interfere, except on nights when they have a date night once a week. Perhaps he wanted his family to look like the family he had seen since childhood, his mother staying at home to take care of him and his siblings, while his father had to go to work early in the morning. "I expected Hannah to be more at home with the kids," Daniel said. Hannah was allowed to work, but only at home and on their farm. He didn't care about her big dreams. In a conda on Ballerina Farm's YouTube account, posted May 19, 2024, they said,
"And both of us are at home every day, and so we're able to share a lot of that."
Yeah, so we're home.
Which is really helpful.
We're together the vast majority of the day, which I love.
Yeah, I think that's the best part about a social media.
Meanwhile, in his interview with the New York Times, Daniel stated that he is not the head of the household. They run their household as co-CEOs, which means they manage and determine family life and parenting together as equal partners. No matter how much Daniel participates in taking care of their children, Hannah is still the main caregiver. Hannah will tend to be more tired than him. Hannah can't even enjoy time to herself, even if it's just eating her food. Hannah was helped by a cleaner, but she was not asked to take care of their children. Shopping and cooking are also done entirely by Hannah and her children. The family does not recognize instant food. Hannah cooks every meal the family eats from scratch. She squeezes the milk herself. She harvests the eggs in the barn, and she makes the cheese. Daniel helps ease her burden by taking the children around the farm and doing the laundry. Large numbers of children tend to be more independent. It's unimaginable how hard it is to take care of 8 children. Yet Hannah and Daniel didn't do any pregnancy planning. Like any devout Mormon family, they accept whatever God gives them as a blessing. It's very much a matter of prayer for me. I'm like, "God, is it time to bring another one to the earth? And I've never been told no," says Daniel. Then Hannah added, "It's definitely a matter of prayer." In August 2023, Hannah was selected as Mrs. American, so she was invited back to the city to compete in Mrs. World in early 2024. She was pregnant with their 8th child, Flora. Still, she had to maintain her fitness and body proportions to perform on stage perfectly. She often found time before her children woke up to lift weights, take ice baths in the irrigation ditches of the fields, and consume zinc so that she could heal faster. After she gave birth normally and without painkillers, she lay in bed for a week. On the 7th day, she practiced to prepare for the show. Her postpartum hemorrhage stopped on the 12th day, just as she was about to go on stage. During the preparation process, baby Flora was never out of reach. She made it to the 2nd round, and then she returned to the farm. She didn't entirely enjoy being back on stage without leaving her role as a mother behind. Queen of the Trad Wife. With Hannah's lifestyle of cooking food from scratch, managing the farm, giving birth to her children without painkillers, and taking care of 8 children, it shows the Trad Wife lifestyle. The Trad Wife hashtag is so popular on TikTok, there are around 100 million posts that are often related to Christian Mormon creators. Among other Trad Wife content creators like Nara Smith and Estee Williams, Ballerina Farm is the biggest. They have 9.1 million followers on TikTok, 9.4 million on Instagram, and 1.6 million subscribers on YouTube. Their influence on the audience is huge. An article from the New York Times showed the public that Hannah is one of the many women trapped in a misogynistic state. She's lucky that she can make a lot of money from her content, but other women? Perhaps they can only be trapped in a misogynistic state. The situation leaves women exhausted and controlled by men. They cannot enjoy their own time and have to sacrifice their dreams for their families. During the interview, Hannah's answers were often corrected, cut, or answered by her husband. Journalist Megan must utilize the time when Daniel leaves them alone so she can give pure answers from Hannah herself. These narratives are supported by Ballerina Farm's post showing Hannah opening Daniel's gift. She looks excited, hoping it's a vacation ticket to Greece. Instead, she gets an egg apron. It's as if Daniel is telling her to get back to work. She deserves better than that. The video drew a lot of criticism from internet users, and now the issue is getting more and more talked about. We can only hope that Hannah is okay and truly enjoying her life. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, please support us by like, comment, and subscribe to this channel.